Welcome everyone. I was going to say good morning, but it's 12:30 here. I'm sure it's morning somewhere. I have 6 twin flame union reads for you guys. If you're not going to watch all of them, and most of them are pretty quick, but the final one is the one I just did this morning is really important to watch. So if you can't watch all of them, go ahead and skip to that. If somebody wants to put a timestamp on the different videos, they can. They're welcome to in the comments. And I'm going to get started right away since we have 6 to get through. But again, each one is pretty short, so it shouldn't be a really long video. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day. Okay, so I'm going to, the one in front of you is the final read. And I'm going to show you the other ones I did. They start on the 14th. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. They actually start on the 12th. Just make sure that one. Okay, so this is the very first read that I did, and this is six twin flame union reads. Okay, they're all 3D, 4D, 5D, and I'll show you the setup one here. Hold on. Okay, so we have the lower row is the 3D, this is the 4D, this is the 5D, this is the incoming divine feminine, the outgoing divine masculine over here, this is the underlying energy, the destiny or wheel card, and then the closing card over here is that 4 of chalices. Let me just clear that up a little bit. Okay, so this is the first read. The vertical columns is the feminine on the left, the masculine on the right, and the bridge between them in between. So that is the first one. This is the second one. This is read number 3. Let me just clear it. Hold on 1 second. Let's clear that up a little bit more. Okay. And then the next one is here. And the 5th one here. And then the final one in front of you is this one here. So, and it was a very special reading in this read, so I would definitely watch this one, if not all of them, because they all build up to this read as well. So there's always a message in each one that's very special, but this one probably had the most. So here we go. All right, so the first union read was done on the 12th, which was Friday. And again, they're all 3D, 4D, 5D union. My messages have been coming in to do the 3D, 4D, 5D for the twins only through the spring solstice, so through the 21st. So we're basically, you know, we still have some straggles in 3D right now. So I'm doing them until the 21st of this month, but after that for the twins, I'll only do 4, 5, 6D for the twins, okay? Because we're really getting ourselves out of 3D. I may occasionally do a 3D, 4D, 5D for the collective as well. So just bear with me, but that was the energy that I was getting here. That we're basically, and that's part of the message in the final read too, is that we're truly, you know, walking out of the 3D. Okay, so this first read done on Friday the 12th, and 12 is the hangman, and 3 of the month is the empress, of course, and the energy of the day was the 20 of judgment. So it was the 12 of the hangman and judgment. So hanging out perhaps in judgment, or perhaps deliberating, or perhaps awakening as well, or becoming alert to certain decisions or wake-up calls. So at 9 a.m. I did this for the 12th, and I started out with the underlying energy, and I'll always tell you this first, the underlying energy, then the center energy, and then the closing energy here. I'm sorry, here, here, and here. So I'll give you those 3 energies first before I start the read. So in this first one, destined strength and a breakthrough in looking up at the stars. The ingoing divine feminine was the new moon, which was tomorrow at the time, because we were past the new moon now, but being present to the flame, the gift of the shadow, the web, the meat. The horse with no name was coming up. Cancer and Capricorn, gift, the present moment here. In the 3D, the divine feminine with 10 of Pentacles, fixing up the home, building, abundance, the dark side of wealth, and addressing those issues. The divine masculine outside the E tower, or the divine feminine's heart, doing crystal work. And there's a cathedral near me called Bryn Athens Cathedral, and that was coming up for some reason, on a carpet, like the magic carpet type of energy, and bridged by ending pain, or in a painful ending, the bliss of collaborating on crystals together, or out in the yard together from two different perspectives at their future home, she the abundance and he the castle. At 918, the 4D, and 918 happens to be, that's been coming up a lot. My birthday's been coming up a lot lately. In the 4D was the Tower, the Strength, and the Eight of Wands. The Divine Feminine Tower with sudden events, epiphanies, home, cards, and Spidey took a fall. Sudden drama, or Hermit knocked off the wall, or fell, a fire, or an emergency. And a siren went off right then at 9:20 with not only police sirens, but a fire truck as well. The Divine Masculine with the Eight of Wands, an energetic exchange, splatter. That's been a big theme for the masculine here. The masculine being the splatter of, think of the cyclone, the splatter. At the 0 point, with lots of back and forth, an energetic exchange with the divine feminine's heart, and all over the place, taking in all and zeroing in on the E tower, the divine feminine's heart, bridged by the strength of the divine feminine, breaking out of the fire or through the ring, the tiger's eye. And by the way, tiger's eye has been coming up as important to ground with. So tiger's eye, that's come up a lot for me. Tiger's eye grounding mechanism with sudden breakthrough to the divine masculine, both in the ring of fire at the same time, in all directions of space-time continuum and all dimensions here. In the 5D was the Seven of Wands, the reason of the Emperor, and the Six of Pentacles, the Phoenix rising for the divine feminine, above the drama to tango in the Middle East. Transmute Syria perhaps, and the divine, and Israel's coming up too. The divine masculine balancing, the feminine crystals, and handouts to be fair in all directions, sharing time and money and asking for help at 9:32, the Hermit and the Journey, bridging by reason, the Emperor in 5D, Santa giving a hand in tossing the drama and artificial hand into the 4D fire for transmuting the 3D pain. The divine feminine here is the Ten of Pentacles Tower and the Seven of Wands. Comfortable home, present to the darkness of the new moon, present to two flames, but third is blacked out. The matriarch epiphany or sudden event regarding rising above, not only the Four of Wands home or union, but the Six of Wands, the journey with flame in hand. The divine masculine with the Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, and Six of Pentacles, reaping the divine feminine's heart, the rewards of that, and color my world, and learning to share or give and take. The bridge here, the Ten of Swords, strength, and reason, which is the Emperor, is the bliss of passing through the ring from both angles or angels, and that was coming up as the 0. So if you take the 0 and you draw a line down the middle, that's the symbol for pi, right? But if you make that line down the middle actually a circle being seen from the side, which then looks like just a line, it becomes two circles interlinked with each other, right, in a perpendicular fashion. And it's like the X. X marks the spot, but it's actually two circles. So it's all in the perspective. The horizontal and the vertical pillars, the rings or circular planes, circling the ground, waiting to land, waiting for word from the tower. An eighth turn. Remember the eighth turn of the key? That it doesn't turn a quarter, because a square becomes a square if you turn it a quarter. It doesn't really work. The eighth turn of the X marking the spot. So instead of one line turning a quarter, two lines each turn an eighth towards each other and become the X. X marks the spot, the bow and arrow, before pulled, Cupid's mark. Transmuting the fire with a hand up or a hand out from Santa or Saint Nick or Sweet Nick, or in the nick of time, or perhaps Nick at night. Let's do the time warp again. So that was coming up from Rocky Horror. It's astounding. Time is fleeting as madness takes its toll. But listen closely, not for very much longer, and Spirit's connecting with me. I've got to keep control. I remember doing the time warp, drinking those moments when the blackness would hit me and the void would be calling, let's do the time warp again. And notice the names from Rocky Horror. Magenta, you probably forgot about Magenta. Riff Raff is, the other blonde guy, and then Rocky. Rocky is the newborn. And then Dr. Frankenfurter, of course. It's just a jump to the left, which is the divine feminine, and then a step to the right, right? That's the divine masculine. With your hands on your hips, you bring your knees in tight, right? Clamp down. But it's the pelvic thrust that really drives you insane, right? The sexual energy. Let's do the time warp again. So the outgoing divine masculine here is at 1020, which is the wheel and the judgment, with two of pentacles, 6 of swords, and the Queen of Pentacles, surrendering decisions to find peace in friendly waters with the Queen of Pentacles, both meditating, yet the young one is still stranded in turbulent waters alone. Or he gets the crystals and she gets the money to make peace in Lemurian waters. Destined Adam, which again, those circles of perspective, right? Because the atom are circles just at an angle. So you don't see the full circle, you see more of an oval shape. So the 3 atoms are actually 3 circles intertwined. So it's kind of like the Irish knot. But it's coming up as the destined atom, right? A-T-O-M, the 3 planes of existence, not just up and down or horizontal and vertical or black and white. The 3-world split of polarities and the monk key or the monk key in the middle, plus 0 point field, shared between all 3. The plane position depends on the perspective in the whole scheme of things. A 3-ring circus. And then Ringling Brothers came up, which was 1871 to 2017, and of course Barnum and Bailey as well. Ring-a-ling, Bar None, and Bail-E were coming up here. So Ring-a-ling, right, which is calling some up, Ring-a-ling, and then Bar None, right, Barnum, can be Bar None or Bar the number, and also being numb, and Bailey, Bail-E, which is the divine feminine energy, or the expansion energy, the Elohim as well. So going back to the 3 circles, it depends on your perspective, but the 3 circles is the atom, but it's also the Irish knot. It's also just 2 circles with a 3rd circle on top, the triangle and the Trinity, right? It's also the toroidal field with the 2 circles of the apple of the toroidal field, and then the core, which is a field at an angle. So they were showing, I was drawing this stuff, and usually the flower of life is 6 circles with the 7th circle in the middle. But if you make those circles a bit closer together, you actually can create a Merkaba in the middle. I actually haven't done that yet, but I'll do that for you so you see what I mean. So 6 circles for the Merkaba, and remember that the 3 circles together make the ipsilateral triangle in the middle, right? That perfectly balanced triangle times 2, really, which is the 2 parts of the Merkaba that then get pushed together to make the Merkaba within the center there. So when you put when you look at the atom, right, the 3 ovals together, and then you do the drawing that I just told you about to make the Merkaba in the center. If you take that circle and then you angle it like an oval instead of a circle, it literally looks like a bug. And I'll show you the picture I have of like a dragonfly. So this is like the atom, but if you take this circle and you make it at an angle, it becomes this, which looks like a bug. It looks like a dragonfly. So it's like three toroidal fields together. You could argue 2 with 3 parts or 3 toroidal fields together, which would represent the 369 as well. And that came up in another figure that I did. I'll have to bring up that drawing for you too, because that was made up of 2 Merkaba fields coming together, becoming 3 parts, right? Because one overlaps, and then having that 3 times. So again, that was the 369 as well. I'll have to show you that figure because that had a lot of important shapes in it as well. So remember, we're talking about the atom. So then Adam and Eve, and also besides a bug, it looks like a tomb. I was also getting the energy of the I have a fashion design certificate. So when you draw heads, you don't really see the eyes of being in the middle of the head, but they are. They're actually in the center of the head. And that was coming up for a reason, right? The third eye being exactly in the middle point of the head. It's not up or down. And then, of course, the dragonfly was coming up. There may be significance here with the third eye, the dragonfly, and the atom, and the tomb. Adam and Eve is coming up as a dam and eaves. Adam and Eve being the dam and the eaves, the block and the shelter. And then going to atom and ease. Atom and ease. Adam and ease. Ease and grace. So atom and then ease and grace. So that's a good way to remember Adam and Eve too. But anyway, coming up Adam and Eves for Adam and Eve. And then atom and ease. So referencing the 2 polarities with Adam and Eve comes Adam and ease. So Adam is the structure and ease is the other polarity of that, the ease and grace. So in this read, it came out with the number 63 on the number grid, 63 being the 9 of swords, the suffering and silence, with the vertical were the star 17, 8, and 38, which is the star strength or the dance, and the Queen of Cups, which she was coming up when I did the twin flame read that day, right? The vertical columns were coming up as 3, 17, 10, 21, 2, and 6, 4. So the message coming up as the dream of the tango with the Queen of Cups, the Empress star destined world, and the High Priestess lovers with the Emperor, the abundant dream of high vibration or completion, the High Priestess's bliss, suffering and silence to end the nightmare and create the dream catcher. Catch me if you can. I'm the gingerbread man. And then the Philippines was coming up because I just did the gingerbread house in the Philippines. And Philippines was then crossing over with Philadelphia since I live in the Philadelphia area. And Philippines is separated into Phila and then pines, and the pine cone is the third eye. And then Philadelphia, of course, is the city of brotherly, but it really literally means brotherly and sisterly love. That was a very masculine thing to do, right? Call it the city of brotherly love. But Phila, the abbreviation for Philadelphia, means to be well, to be healthy, to be alive. And then Delphia is coming up with the Delphine energy of the dolphins. And so, traditionally Philadelphia is from ancient Greek, from I love and brotherly or sisterly. So it's not really just brotherly love. It's a city of brotherly and sisterly love. And there's another way of spelling Philadelphia with F in both places, Philadelphia, both F's instead of PH's. And there are cities there in Italy and Costa Rica. So those places needed to come up here for some reason. So breaking it down further, Philadelphia, realize that in Philadelphia, phi comes up twice. And we always talk about phi, the expansion and the contraction of the phi energy. And if you break Philadelphia down, you have phi and then ladle and then phi and then A. And for me, if you listen to me all the time, A is the human embodiment of source of the circle plus the tail, which is the connection to another. So and so then part of Philadelphia is Del. So Del came up, but the upside down triangle comes up here, which means in math, gradient operator. And then there was an upside down E as a math symbol as well, which was the partial differential in math. So here, this is part of delta though, right? And delta is usually the right side up triangle. But here, the del is showing the reverse triangle and also the upside down E, which is half of what? The upside down E is half of Ash, the AE, the Adam and Eve. So that was coming up here. And a lot of about to dig, to excavate, to bury with Delph. And then Del has a lot of definitions, but here's what came out from that. So Philadelphia, expanding and contracting with the Del, the upside down triangle, or the divine feminine triangle, the delta being the masculine pyramid, upright. But the upside down E, like I said, is really like the A, written like an E, in the ash symbol of A and E. So it's half of ash. It looks like a bow tie when you put them together. So the upside down E is coming up here as the divine feminine triangle, and the right side up E is coming up as the divine masculine triangle, the delta. And the delta is also depression in the landscape. Giving, sharing, exciting, feeling faded and lucky, expanding and contracting again to connect with others, embodying source and reaching out, to be well, healthy, alive, to excavate, dig up, and bury, so doing both, loving in a brotherly, sisterly way here. Philadelphia. Delta is the closed figure, produced by connecting 3 coils or circuits successfully. So here again are the 3 rings. The delta is the closed figure produced by connecting 3 coils or circuits successfully. End for end, especially in a 3-phase system. A star, usually the 4th brightest of a constellation, which is delta, also it's a mouth of a river. It's to participate, partake, or be discriminatory. Rays with secondary electrons with enough energy to escape a significant distance away from the primary radiation beam and produce further ionization, or delta ray. And then I was getting some more interesting images. So does anyone know what like a staple shape? So literally like a squared C. If that's symbolic of something specific, let me know, because I couldn't find anything. And then I was getting 2 parallel lines again, but again, they're actually circles at an angle. So when you see just 2 lines of 11, as example, they may not just be 2 lines. You may be seeing them from the side, but they're actually 2 circles sitting behind each other. And there was a picture that came up online of 2 circles like that. And here's the picture of the lines that were coming up online, is these 2 right here. Okay, and then it was titled Digging for Clapping Sticks. So there was just some photos that came up online, as well as that picture of the 8, but in a squared off S type figure. So this second union read was done at 12:43, which is the Hangman and the 3 of Cups. And as soon as I started this read, SmackDown was coming up. So perhaps regarding wrestling, but obviously there's some other energies coming up around SmackDown as well. The Queen of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Eight of Cups here. The Queen of Wands and the Page of Wands can be mother and child, perhaps a child walking away and within, or the Queen of Wands does it all, yet bows down to the Page of Wands, masked with burning desire, or perhaps with infection, asking for their perspective from above and below, as we just finished discussing circular perspective. Both teacher and student all have something to offer. The incoming divine feminine here is the close bond of mother and son, dealing with the upper half, the pain in the neck, or ending upper back pain, or pain in general for bliss by passing messages. By golly, I've got it. Two men watching, messages getting backed up, delivery is slow and mail taking forever. Two discussing downloads, and that was interesting too, because then me and my son were texting back and forth. Taking a risk to be seen, painful dealing with the 3D at this point. In the 3D was the Ace of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, and guidance. The divine feminine, diamond in the rough, an offer of a new life, a breakthrough. As the divine masculine, guidance, Taurus, marriage, Buddha, Sphinx, religion, establishment, all coming up. Bridging at Trinity, the workplace, the gingerbread house, Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo, DiCaprio, or Da Vinci, or Divine, grapevine, heard it through the string and cup, the string of pup, or peeing in a cup. The doctor's appointment, bringing 1 + 2 crystals together, partners, and a financial backer. In the 4D is the Starseed, the Page of Wands, and the Page of Cups. The divine feminine with a big download to the crown. Hail to the crown. Lush, and that's so funny because a lot about, the royal family's been coming up. I didn't even realize that because I never go online about that stuff. But lush landscape, fertile ground. The divine masculine with the Queen of Cups in lap of luxury, or she's in the islands or by the falls, catching that chalice that's been poked up in the air by the dolphin or the Lemurians, a distraction or feeling of well-being. Bridging 4D by the Page of Wands masked boy with burning desire, inspiration, idol, American Idol, a fresh start in the jungle and distraction in island paradise, but at the workplace must wear masks and show respect at 138, the Magician and the Queen of Cups. The 5D here is the divine feminine needing to stay out of the light, below ground in the woods or basement where it's dark or cool after receiving a lot of light in the 4D. The divine masculine at the helm leading the way in the spotlight, bridging with the 8 of Swords, released at the creek, no longer hiding away, transmuting pain. The divine feminine, 3D breaking ground or ground breaking, spring clearing and fixing, the 4D breaking through the crown in a big breakthrough about suffering in silence, or 5D isolation, nature in the woods, out of the sun or the spotlight, right? Sometimes needing to go in and not getting so much light. The divine masculine with the 3D guidance and commitments, the 4D Queen of Cups in the life she has become accustomed to, the 5D journey and leading the way, and then the bridge being the 3D workplace, the 4D coming to an understanding, bridging the gap of the 3D to 5D, hiding, release, out of view, the need for both to hermit at times, but not suffer or hide, just lay low in a cool place to gather their strength. The outgoing divine masculine is the King of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, and the Tower. The King of Pentacles, crystal skull, mastering Akashics with crystal work to reap rewards of the divine feminine's heart in the E-Tower, scaling the walls or breaking out of prison in a sudden event or epiphany, or that can be orgasm as well, or just the dance when triggered, walking away and within. Which is funny too, because the guys working on my house just came back, and we were just discussing that being in my energy may be getting triggered, because one of them was like triggering the other one. It was funny over the weekend. So that was definitely coming up. Walking away and within at 222, which is again the guidance counselor show. So receiving guidance. The Queen of Wands to the Page of Wands, inspired the divine masculine to walk away and within. Soulmates in the Hall of Records, ending pain in the neck from keeping head down. Or in other words, that was coming up in the movie I just watched. Oh, that was in the Coven of Sisters. Is it the Coven of Six Sisters? It's on Netflix. But through that whole movie, they kept being told to not look up, to keep your head down. They weren't allowed to look at the men. So not allowed to look at the superiors, so that's that wound coming up. Passing downloads in full view, triggering the divine masculine to epiphanies of his own. That Spidey's been scaling the walls, spying, lying, and it's time to walk away from all that. So this read came out with the number 65 of the King of Pentacles. Horizontally was 31 and 34 of the 5 of Wands and the 8 of Wands, and then vertically was 6, 10, 7, 10, 11, 6, 7, and 8. So greased lightning with 5 and 8, expanding in energetic exchange with the King of Pentacles, the lover's high vibration in the Chariot, which is the vehicle of ascension, destined justice of lovers and the dream family, the 10 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles in energetic exchange. All right, so next union done at 318, the Empress and the Moon. This one started out with the Ace of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Tower. The truth presented by the Knight of Pentacles suddenly, getting ready to play ball with a sudden proposal perhaps here. The incoming divine feminine with Indigo, Karma, and the Queen of Pentacles. The Indigo child proposing. And here I was getting the energy of to indicate, display, or advise. The truth being presented here with judgment, decision, wake-up call, or call to the Queen of Pentacles. Gemini or Virgo and Aquarius to the Queen of Pentacles, perhaps paying the bill. The 3D here is the 6 of Wands, Knight of Cups, and 3 of Cups. The Divine Feminine taking the lead on the journey of creation. The Divine Masculine coming together in joy or third party under the radar with the Divine Feminine. Bridging with the Knight of Cups in the green room, waiting for their entrance, surfing the wave of the infinity pool and the coffee cup, the Divine Masculine's emotions getting riled up toward the Divine Feminine. The 4D here is Ascension, the Knight of Pentacles, and Reflection. The Divine Feminine with the world in their right hand, having a firm grip on it, and the Divine Masculine Reflection and going within, shedding light on 0 point, merging with proposal of the Knight of Pentacles. In the city of brotherly and sisterly love, it's all Greek to me. At 5D here, which is Reason or the Emperor, the Page of Cups, and the Queen of Swords, in the Divine Feminine in control, giving self a hand, the Divine Masculine with the Queen of Swords with trigger and read, disconnected from feelings due to grief. The 5D bridging with the Page of Cups, innocent love, and the 4D practical, and 3D emotional here. The Divine Feminine with the journey to complete the cycle with the Emperor, or in a logical way, the Divine Masculine the joy of reflection and hermiting, as with the Queen of Swords, and the bridge between them is the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, very childlike energy, love coming the Divine Feminine's way, the 4D direct proposal, and 5D a resounding yes with heart open wide. The outgoing Divine Masculine with the 10 of Wands, Chariot, and the King of Wands, up from the basement in a bold move to be the King of Wands shaman with a sudden event or epiphany or orgasm there, and the Divine Feminine and Emperor and Divine Masculine Hermit, the Knight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, and Page of Cups between us. The Divine Feminine proposing the truth to come out, awaken the deal to ascend the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands suddenly. The truth of the Emperor's love for the Queen of Swords' epiphanies on each other's side. The Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles sending love messages back and forth at 407, which is the Emperor and the Chariot ascending. So the number that came out from this union read was 20, which is Judgment. Horizontally was 1, 0, and 19, and then vertically was 1, 6, 3, and 10. So here we have the Magician and Source energy and the Sun, which can represent SUN or SON, the Magician lover of abundant destiny in their high vibration together in a wake-up call. Okay, so that was that one. Okay, next union read was done at 4:30 on the 12th. Most of these were done on the 12th. All right, I think this is the last one on the 12th. The other two are more recent. So this one was at 4:30, which is the Four of Wands and the Four of Wands and the Emperor. Okay, so the Emperor at home or in union. And here's, we have the new moon coming up on the 13th. With the Ten of Swords, the King of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. So ending pain with unconditional love and emotional fulfillment. The incoming divine feminine is the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Moon, or Luna. Curious about their abilities at home, at night, or at the new moon, ending pain or pain cycle for good. In the 3D, the divine feminine destiny or fate, leaving the 3D, the divine masculine in the divine feminine's heart, bridging by setting up crystals on the way to her door. The 4D is the divine feminine, Eight of Swords, hiding across the creek with blinders on to see what may come along. The divine masculine, right, because it's someone having faith, right? When they put blinders on, they don't need to see because they feel. The divine masculine with 6 cups, loving each other, bridging by the King of Cups, and the divine masculine at the E Tower. The 5D here is the divine feminine and the King of Pentacles, Akashic records. The divine masculine passing downloads from 6D to 4D, and the King of Cups bypassing 5D people who are watching. Bridging by guidance, marriage, religion establishment, or Taurus, Buddha, or Sphinx, and Akashics. The divine feminine destined to hide from the King of Pentacles, or the Hall of Records, the 4D purgatory, unless he releases her. The divine masculine in the divine feminine's heart, the 6 of Cups, the 2 children loving each other, passing downloads together. The bridge being the 8 of Pentacles, the crystal-lined path to the King of Cups, unconditional love with guidance and or marriage or commitment. The outgoing divine masculine is the Queen of Pentacles, hiding out to alchemize patience with the 10 of Cups, family or emotional fulfillment, ending pain and beginning the happy ending. With the Page of Cups on the top, the child raised up. The divine feminine's child learning their abilities. The King of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles in the 5D with the Queen of Pentacles on his side to meld with the emotional side. The divine masculine's kids learning to love each other or get along, and then the Page of Pentacles just starting to work on their abilities, and another child in the 5D as the King of Pentacles. And then the Queen of Pentacles, perhaps the divine feminine, on his side, learning to spend without hiding, to be emotionally fulfilled. And this could be, people with wounds about spending and both ways, people who have an issue with spending and people who have issues spending too much. So that can be coming up both ways. All right, so that was it for the 12th for the union reads. All right, so then we hop to the 14th, and then we have one for today. So this one was done on the 14th, which is then the Temperance card, and the day added up to 22, which is the Fool. So being patient and open-hearted with the Temperance card and the Fool. And this read was done at 7:12 p.m. that day, and there were 4 aces in this read, all 4 aces. So this one started out with the 8 of Cups, the Emperor, and the 5 of Wands. Walking away from the Emperor wanting to fight, or who's conflicted, the divine feminine walking, and the Emperor tossing in the towel into the fire, and flame waving goodbye, perhaps. I did the numbers first for some reason in this read. I just want to do it differently. And the number comes out as 47, which is very interesting now that I realize this, because 47 came up this morning regarding some stuff I was guided to, so I'll tell you about that as well. So 47 is the 7 of Cups, the synchronicities, the heaven in their eyes, having choices, the twin flames and the third energy, fully energized and exposed, with synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, the dance of the 2 of Cups, the Emperor and the High Priestess, the stars and the moon, the sudden events, the dreams come true at night, with the magician and the lovers, or that can be magician embodiment as well. And again, there were 4 aces here. Okay, so the incoming divine feminine energy was Page of Swords, 4 of Wands, and 2 of Cups. The message of union of the 2 of Cups, or the Page of Swords home, or special celebration for 2, the twin flames on the right side of the castle, or perhaps working on the home, being a masculine thing to do, or homecoming. In the 3D is the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the 9 of Cups. The divine feminine's passion ignited, the divine masculine getting their wish, with 6 rays of light shining underground in stone mausoleum, or wine cellar, or upscale dungeon, with a Thai server, or at your service. Bridge by dolphin, ready to play ball, the truth just below the surface, her call. The 4D here is the Starseed, Reason, which is the Emperor, and Transition, which is the Death card. Starseed's the Fool. The divine feminine and a fresh start with a big download, and fired up with the divine masculine's transition o'er the threshold, like over, but the O apostrophe ER, o'er the threshold, passes the test. The bridge by the Emperor, offering a false hand, or tossing AI into the fire, or evidence into the water, or dolphin watch. And then as soon as I reread this and I was getting the tossing into the fire, it was bringing up the episode of Dinosaurs. I don't know if you remember the show Dinosaurs, but that was one of my favorites. It wasn't on for very long. But one of the episodes is when part of their tradition is that when the grandparents turn, I don't know, 60 or 70, whatever the age was, they get tossed into a pit. So it was pretty funny because my kids and I always talk about that. But that's coming up here too. So the 4D controller, Alfred, running the household so Batman can play. So Alfred was Batman's butler or father role, running the household so that Batman can go out and play. In the 5D is the Queen of Pentacles with the divine feminine, with the disappearing coin, and the divine masculine wounded warrior bridging with love, hugs, and kisses. The inner children passing from the 5D bridge downloads to the 4D divine feminine, and the 4D divine masculine passing through the portal to the 5D bridge with the divine feminine. The divine feminine ignited to a fresh start about the worth of money, or her perspective on money, and the divine masculine satisfied getting their wish of 4D transition and barely making it to the other side. The bridge of truth and the 4D downloads, the transmutation and transition portal with the throughway to the 5D inner child love. The outgoing divine masculine is at 746, which is the chariot, and then the 46 of the inner children, the children in the garden, the 6 of cups. It's not only the number 746, but I literally wrote chariot as the first word here. So the outgoing divine masculine is the chariot with Durga boldly ascending to offer new life, new love, in hot pursuit of happiness, or heat wave here. Okay, so now we're on number 6, and this is the big one here. All right, from today. And today's the 15th, which is the devil, and the day adds up to 23, which is the King of Wands. So the devilish King of Wands, the man of passion here. As it was daylight savings this weekend, I didn't realize, but our clocks jumped ahead an hour, springing forward. And at 9:18, so my birthday came up again, writing notes. And then at 9:25, I cut the deck for this union read in front of you, the 9 of the Hermit, the 25 of the Knight of Wands. So the 6 of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords, and the Page of Cups as the 3 cards in the summary. Sharing, balancing self, money, and gifting. Stretching, growing up, the frog to prince, juggling at high altitudes, Plymouth Rock coming up, and Mount Everest, with pearlescent, heart-shaped face and tails to boot, emerald green, warts and all, with ocean view. Innocent love, heart open wide, sharing and being childlike and open, And the US Open came up here, which literally spells us being open. The New World. And the Ides of March, which is today at 44:55, just came up now here, and it's 1:15 on the clock. So again, the devil of the 15 and the 1 of the magician. Today's the Ides of March, which is the full moon day, or traditionally the full moon day on the 15th of 4 original 31-day months: March, May, July, which is called Quintilis, and October, Quintilis, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and then the 13th of all the other months. It also means goddess, sacred one, saint, hallow, god, deity, virgin, lady, woman, queen. So the Ides of March is all about the feminine. The incoming divine feminine is the 2 swords, the 2 of pentacles, and reflection. The divine feminine floating with the frog to prince, she on the jetties, and he on the higher rock above the beach. The divine feminine surrendering their choice, balancing their energy and checks and balances, and stretching their neck and twisting their waist and direction, time, space, lightening up or filled up with light, perhaps took in some sun this week, filled up the tank as the hermit with light, especially indoors, proud to be as such, not much to do in 3D anymore, but reflect and practice being a human light bulb at 9:39, which is the Hermit and the Knight of Cups, being love. In the 3Ds, the transition, transition, karma, and the 10 of Cups, the Divine Feminine's transition, done with 3D or out-of-body experience, clearing or just leaving 3D, dense body behind, and springing ahead. The Divine Masculine with the 10 of Cups stacked against him, bowling for emotions, needing all 10 for a strike, not 3 here. 3 would just be the head and shoulders, but taking down the whole structure in mega falls. And the name Megan was coming up here too. I was watching The One. I don't know if you've seen that series on Netflix. It was very curious because it's very twin flame, right? It's a typical, catch you by the drama of it series. But what was very important about this series is portraying the understanding how difficult it is for, the 3 people involved, right? The one in a relationship and then the one who's not in a relationship but who's connected. Because in the show, you get matched with your one, and then of course you think about them all the time in the show. But in the twin flame connection, it's not just thinking about the other person. You feel, it depends on your abilities, whether you're, some people are more clairvoyant and some are more clairsentient. But depending on your union, it's not just thinking about the other person, it's feeling them, and feeling them perhaps have sex with their partner, feeling their feelings, feeling their ups and downs, feeling when they get drunk or do drugs or whatever may be going on in the union. So it was very interesting to watch this series. You might want to check it out. But taking down the whole structure in mega falls. Oh, by the way, the star of the show was her. One of the matches. The other woman, her name was Megan. So that was coming up. Mega Falls and Rainbow Bridge, which literally translates as the neck of land, which is Niagara. A flood, a flood or torrent, an outpouring, especially a massive one, a grape, a releasing of a dam or block, in other words. And then shoots of Niagara came up, which brought up BitChute, bridging in 3D by leaving karma behind, by opening the lotus in a wake-up call, awakening. The heart TV or the heart telepathy and the crown, the heart third eye, the fourth eye, and the crown, where then X marks the spot, the back of the waist. So this was interesting coming up for me this morning because I was doing a clearing this morning before I got out of bed, and I got guided to twist and hang my one leg over the end of the bed so it would be weighted and pull as I twisted my waist the other way. There was a big clearing that needed to happen at the waist by twisting, not just regular stretches, but by twisting at the waist, pretty significantly. And that was a really nice release this morning, actually. So here's coming up the third eye, fourth eye, and the crown, and the X being the two vertical lines that are turned an eighth. Two of them turning an eighth each way towards each other becomes the X. So the 11 becomes the X when you do the dance, when you turn the key. The X marks the spot, or the back of the waist. 3 lines down, or waves, and a question mark, right? As the questions why. With a pinch, or an awakening, and a squeeze, the transmutation of squeezing all those emotions out, every last drop, and a tropical breeze, the breath, breathing, with Bloody Marys, Immaculate Conception, and Mary Magdalenes with blood on their hands. And then gotcha. That's the going on a treasure hunt. But gotcha is gotcha, got dance, going on a treasure hunt, finding it along the Rainbow Bridge, across troubled waters, Niagara Falls, cutting them off at the pass, taking down the support system. Oh, I wasn't getting that before, but literally crossing the bridge and then taking the bridge down so nobody else can get across. The hijacked pyramid, so to speak. Taking down the support system, the hijacked pyramid. The 4D here is at 10:01, the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician embodiment of the higher self, 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Wands, the divine feminine higher self under the bridge in plasma ether, and ether spelled AETHER, equals the ash symbol. AE is the ash symbol to the nth degree, transmuted, ER, urgently, to cause the excretion of emotional body of paramount proportion. So just like the adrenochrome and just like the olive trees that I told you about in Morocco, when tortured, you excrete something very powerful and beautiful. And this was coming up as the same thing. The divine feminine's higher self under the bridge in the plasma ether, which ether breaks down to ash to the nth degree, traumatized, to cause that excretion of the emotional body, and thus our purge or dark night of the soul of paramount proportion, right? To get it all out, to make this great thing come at the end of it, right? Once you get over the bridge. So then this was coming up again. I always tell you about the polarities and of the perpetrator and the savior, and that the victim is actually the one in the middle. Just to give you, so just imagine 2 bookends, 2 vertical lines as the polarities, and then you have a line in the middle. If you turn that line an eighth, it pulls both of the outer lines in. I'm trying to think of the contraption that actually does that. I can't think of what it is, but I know people have that kind of stuff all the time. But it's like as you twist the middle, the outer pieces come inward. So it's doing the dance of the victim to change their perspective so that the polarities lessen, right? The outliers go away, just in like the mean, mode, and median energies type thing. Instead of averaging, taking the outliers off. So, then you go from, having the 2 lines here. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy there. There we go. So you have the 2 lines as the outliers, right? With here's the 2 outliers, the perpetrator and the savior, and the victim in the middle as the line. But as you turn the line, or have 2 lines changing towards each other, right? The 2 victims in the middle together, that becomes the X in the middle and then pulls the lines toward it. So there's no outliers anymore. I just wanted you to get to the visual of the X, because the X is the divine feminine, right? It's the feminine chromosome. But it's also the X, right? And also the dance of the 8th turn. The twist, the turn, the dance, the stretching, and the singing. The moment, right? So then, why did I look that up? Oh, so perpetrator, victim, and savior. I looked at P, V, and S for perpetrator, victim, and savior. And PVS, the definitions were perfect for this. So this action of the middle energy of the victim changing the perspective in order to bring the outliers in, so there's no perpetrator, no savior anymore. The PVS came up as these different headers. Persistent vegetative state, perfect. Prisoner visitation syndrome, personal viewing site, and potentially visible set. So they all applied very specifically. And if I turn them around, making the savior first with the victim in the middle and the perpetrator on the other side, SVP, the only definition that came up for that was s'il vous plaît, or if you please, which is so funny because if you're starting with the savior, they're being much more nice about it. It also comes up PVS as polyvinyl siloxane, which is what they use to make a mold to do your teeth for dental impressions, which is called a silicone elastomer. Yeah, so that was coming up around that. Okay, so at 10:10, the 8th turn, remember not the quarter turn, just like a lid, you know, sometimes you have lids on food or anything where they tighten to a certain point, but if you tighten it tighter than that, it loosens again. So it was getting that kind of energy. The 8th turn, not a quarter turn, because then you're going too far, like a lid that only tightens to a point and then becomes loose again if you try to tighten it even more, right? It's too much. With scroll work here, loops and oopsies in the halls of Akash and Amenti, the realm between Omega Point and our 3D world. And this was coming up from discover.hubpages.com per Thoth. Omega and New Sphere stands for the highest level of consciousness, i.e. God. And it was originally termed by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, or Chardin, the ultimate hall of mirrors, illusion, only passable by knowledge, wisdom, and complete lack of karma. And then you merge with the Omega Point, or the 0 point. The Divine Feminine holds the records of the Divine Masculine's splatter, the Divine Masculine's energetic exchange, the color without numbers, all over the place, outside the lines from the eye of the storm, whipping up chaos and staying untouched, learning to detach from the drama, that all the world is a stage and is much more fun to be the conductor or director than get caught up in the circus or cycles, the roundabout, the 3-ring circus. So then we have the 3 rings here coming up of the Celtic, or the Irish knot. I kept wanting to say Celtic. So they're also called the Borromean rings, and is referenced of DNA too, because DNA can look like that too. So what came up here was from the I'm just blanking out on the word. You know, the group, the shoot, it'll come up. But the 47th problem of Euclid, and I didn't know this, my numerology book is based on the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem of the picture of the triangle with the 3 squares around it is the 47th problem of Euclid, or proposition of Euclid. Euclid was the father of geometry. So 3, 4, 5 is the reference to this square, because it's not a perfect triangle. Each line is bigger than the other, and so each square is bigger than the other. The 3 to 4 to 5, and the Masons. All right. So it's coming up around their laws and rules to square their square. Their principle being having a strong foundation, aligning their lives in order, as opposed to chaos, I suppose. But this was aligning themselves with doing what other people tell them what to do, not allowing their own passions to get in the way of order. So 7 sacred, the number 7 coming up here is sacred. With Pythagoras, the square and the triangle coming up here, the reason Pythagoras, I can't speak today, the reason Pythagoras thought 7 was sacred is because it's the 3 plus the 4 equals 7, which is the triangle and the square, which then equals completion. And the 3 and the 4, the Empress and the Emperor in the chariot of the 7, and I bring that up all the time, but it's actually the circle with the triangle, right? Because the circle is the human embodiment of Source, and the triangle is the Trinity. But that symbol with the circle in the center is the Illuminati symbol with the line down the middle, the triangle on the outside, and the circle in the center with the line. But I drew the circle on the outside with the triangle in the center. It also can be the symbol for Alcoholics Anonymous. The inverted triangle is water, and then the equilateral triangle is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But of course, besides water, the right side up triangle is fire, and then the reverse triangle with a line through it is the earth, and the right side up triangle with a line through the bottom is air. So those shapes were coming up, and just that the triangle is so important. Obviously, it's representative of all the elements and the meanings of the square and the circles, coming up from starbiz.com. So, and here's that the Pythagorean theorem is this picture here on the side here of the three triangles coming out, the three squares coming out from the triangle, right? Now, in my numerology book, they use a demonstration of a triangle that has two equal sides. So youth and power equal wisdom. I had not seen the unbalanced triangle here, which is I guess the original. I'm sure for the book it was easier to show the example of having a more even triangle to make the squares with. So also the symbol for the medical symbol for the circle and the triangle, where the triangle actually is at the equal place with the circle, but the points then go outside the circle, showing the triangle literally interlinking with the circle, which represents change of the triangle and heat of the circle. And in alchemy, it's change for the masculine and shape of the circle of the feminine. So bridging here by the Five of Swords, stretching and growing to a middle ground between the ocean and the plasma ethers. In the 5D, the Three of Pentacles, or the Three Pentacles, the Two of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Divine Feminine's workplace, the gingerbread house, the Trinity, the change, the delta, the triangle, the co-creation of the triangle, which is 2, 2, 1, with touches of magenta and violet flowers, and crystal towers or pyramids. The Divine Masculine with the Ace of Cups, overflowing with love and emotion, bridging the Two of Cups, coming together 1 to 1. Exponentially then is 1 times 1. And there's the X in the middle, doing the dance, pulling the outliers in close so that there's no savior or perpetrator anymore. So 1-1 instead of that coming together, making it exponentially of 1 times 1. Therefore the X is in the middle, showing that the victims have danced and come together to take responsibility for their own actions. And if you take the X and realize that the X are two circles, right, seeing the circles from the side, and if you make the perspective a little bit different and they become ovals or eights, you then have 2 8s in an X, and 2 8s in an X are actually the 4-leaf clover. 2 figure 8s. What did I write there? Two figure 8s, which is also bows. Oh, okay. I was trying to see what I wrote there. 2 figure 8s turned an eighth of a turn equals the 4-leaf clover, or a 4-bladed fan, or in other words, 2 going ice skating or skiing together. Under the bridge in the garden of prayer or intent, and remember that the 8 turns are 2 in opposite directions. Under the bridge in the garden of prayer, or omega at 0 point, or intent, which is intent, camping out, with a view to a kill, or a killer view, on the threshold of heaven on earth, exuding love and co-creating. X, ooding love. UD. It's funny, I don't know why I'm being called to break it down, but exuding is coming up as X, because we're just talking about the X, and then UD ing, and it's UDI, which is IUD, but changed around. Intrauterine device. Uterine device. What did I just say? In the interim. Uterine device in the interim. Interim uterine device. Am I saying the right word? Interim? It may not be the right word. But there's something about the uterus coming up here. The uterine device. Interim. NG. Which is the Christ God energy. The X of the Holy Grail of the U. And the D of the divine. Like the X is representing the dance. Doing the dance, the tango, with the Holy Grail and the divine. Love and co-creating. The divine feminine here is the transition to the 4D higher self. Must go into the plasma ether and go through it, the etheric realms, to go through the tunnel and out and come out the other end to new earth, union, working and playing together. And that was at 1134, which is justice, and 34 of the Eight of Wands. And then at 36, I had written down one of the workers' names because I had noted something, because I get these little psychic messages for them. And then I corrected it by accident to spell mother. So I'd asked them about their relationship with their mother, so there's definitely mother and son energies coming up here. But it was, and then there was another situation, but it was all about being childlike again, having fun with like crayons and stuff like that. And then the ash came up again in dealing with that. So the AE symbol of the ash and the etheric, the ethers and the etheric realms, and then also being the eighth child came up. So 8 is again the dance of the infinity symbol, the dance between the masculine and the feminine. And that came up at 1144, which is justice, and the 4 of cups, the grounding, integrating, and mastering of love. And not only was the 8th child, but four brothers and 3 sisters came up, and then 2 as well. So again, the 3, 4 of the 7, and then again being the mother and son energy or relationship here. The divine masculine with the 3D, with the big family completion with those 10 cups that came up. And then I was getting a Canadian connection here with the Niagara Falls. Then also getting 4 staying behind. They could be the elder people, right? And then 6 transcending. The 4D energetic exchange with the masculine at the helm in Color My World with crayons, being young again, and arrows of love. To the 5D with the eruption of love and emotion or kundalini overflowing. The bridge between them is the karma done, an opening of the crown, stretching through the 4D. Lincoln and Holland tunnels were coming up here and going through the rock instead of around the long way, and overcoming it at 1154, justice and the page of swords. Overcoming it, the king of the hill. To the 5D where the 2 of cups is. The 1-to-1 love connection, making that 1 times 1, exponential. And then the outgoing divine masculine with the 6 of cups, the shadow or devil, and the divine justice, the inner children loving each other, hugs and kisses and staying close, perhaps with siblings who understand the shadow of divine justice. That love is blind. You feel it and know it even when your eyes are closed. You can't escape it. Helping each other do shadow work or process shade for truth and balance, or seeing the divine feminine as blind if she loves me, or perhaps losing our vision as we age, or the divine masculine perhaps had an eye procedure. The page of cups with their heart open wide with a message of love to everyone, feeling like a kid again. The divine feminine is coming up as the hermit or perhaps Virgo with Scorpio and Pisces on the feminine side. The divine masculine coming up with shadow and justice or Capricorn and or Libra with younger ones, with Aquarius between the 2, the masculine and the feminine, in the 3D only. The number that came up for this read was 45, with the vertical numbers being 12, 13, and 20, and the horizontals being 8, 2, 3, 7, 19, and 6, and the message coming through as the strength or the dance of the High Priestess and the King of Cups, or the King of Wands in the Chariot, under the sun, on vacation, perhaps, with lover, ending the grieving cycle. Ending the grieving cycle, hanging out, transitioning from karma in a wake-up call out of the 45, which is that grieving card of the 5 of Cups, into the 46, which is the 6 of Cups, going from grief to pure love, pure innocent love, to the 46, which is then a 1, which is going from the grief of the 9, the end of the cycle, to the 46 1 of the new cycle with a fresh message of love. So there you go. I'm going to leave it go since it was just 1, 10, 28, and now 30. So that's that 1 of the Magician embodiment, the 10 of the Turn for the Better with the wheel, and then we just had the, what did I just say it was? Oh, the 28 of the Twin Flames, and then the 30 of the Union. So there you go. Make sure you drink your water, get your rest, get your joy, get your nature, and as always, you guys, be good to yourselves. Take a deep breath. And I'll see you soon. Rise and be loved, guys. Bye.